I'm confident that the new Children's Hearings Act, once fully implemented, will deliver a system fit for the challenges of the years ahead. While there may be some procedural changes, the fundamental role of a panel member will remain. Indeed, a central theme is to reinforce the independence of panel members in hearings. The new Act will ensure that you're provided with the support that you're entitled to, so that you can continue your vital work with local children. It seems like an age since the bill's passage through Parliament. It was then we heard some people say, "Ooh, it'll never happen," or "this national convener person will need to be superhuman," and so on. And here we are, on the last lap of a journey to go live, with lots still to do, but an enormous amount of work having been done to make the changes work and work well. And all of that has been the result of a shared desire to make things better for the young people who find themselves within the system. But it hasn't all been plain sailing. Something that's worth caring about never is. There have been passionate and sincere debates. Some people are frustrated by previous moves in key dates or fed up with what they see as too much emphasis on the structural or back office changes. We share your impatience to move discussion on to an improvement agenda, centred on what can be done better for the children and families that we serve. Improvements will include better, more robust procedures before, in and after hearings, new powers for panel members, a dedicated body to support them in their work, a new champion in the national convener, and more flexibility to recognise changing family structures. But we should all have a justified sense of confidence that new arrangements can work, that this reform isn't about centralisation. Rather, within a national framework, flexibility can and should be built in to meet local needs. I'm delighted that we've made such significant progress on some of the most challenging and detailed aspects of reform, and many of you have been an integral part of us getting to that positive place. Now, I oversee the delivery of modernisation for ministers. The sponsor team that supports both SCRA and CHS and the running of the current system sits within my division. It's also my job to support, encourage, and sometimes challenge the chief executives and boards of both CHS and SCRA. And I'm confident that they will tell you at the bar later that I do just that. I also do that with my own team. So on modernisation, if you'll allow me, I'd like to pause for a minute or two to give you a sense of where we are, starting with the work of my own team in the Scottish Government. On the secondary legislation front, we've been developing around 23 pieces of secondary legislation. And I'm delighted that the team has completed most of them for laying in Parliament, starting before Christmas. In fact, only 2 instruments in relation to legal aid and rehabilitation of offenders is still in need of a little more development. I won't go through each and every one just now, but you should be able to see what they relate to on the screen. In fact, there's so many of them, there are 2 screens. And there's the final tranche. There's also a transitional and savings order, which will set out arrangements for the transitional period between the existing and the new systems. We're getting great support from panel chair and other colleagues to make sure we've thought of everything needed to really make that work. Also, the new procedural rules are pretty much complete and have been tested at 3 panel member road testing workshops. The good news for you is that there are very few big changes for panel members. Where changes occur, we hope they'll be worthwhile. Now, you may not be that exercised by all these technical aspects, but the devil's in the detail, and we have to get it right. My desire is that the transition is smooth and that you can focus on what you care about most. And rest assured, you will receive comprehensive training and support from your training units. All new procedures require comprehensive and quality support, and that's what I expect you to receive. But more on training in a minute. I'd particularly like to thank Alan Taylor, who was seconded to my team and led on developing these rules, and Judith Bell, who's leading on conversion training for next year. Also SCRA and CHS for their invaluable contribution. We've already passed the new Safeguarder panel regulations and appointed Children First as the contract manager for the new national service. We engaged with safeguarders across Scotland earlier in the autumn, and I've been really impressed by the work to ensure the smooth transfer of the new safeguarder arrangements from go live. There's a particular focus at the moment on training, again supported by CHTOs, and on recruitment. As a result of the 2011 Act, we also have to make some changes to UK legislation to ensure that what we have works and works well across the United Kingdom. So we've recently submitted something called a Section 104 order to the UK government for passage through Westminster next spring. It sounds dry and technical, but let me tell you, it's actually about making sure the system works across the UK so we can deal safely with young people in the most acute and dangerous situations. On top of all of that work, we remain committed to do our best by all of you in supporting the existing system. My team is also responsible for the training project. I would like to say a massive thank you to your training officers and to colleagues from CPCG and CPAG for getting so involved on top of their day business and really owning the details of this. A big change programme gives us the chance and the responsibility to go for the ideal in terms of best practice. Training is the key to this and forms one of the biggest aspects of the reform programme. It's not just panel member conversion training that we're preparing and planning for. We have to make sure that our trainers and group leaders are trained so that you in turn can also be. That will be supported by a comprehensive new training resource manual, which Mary Philp led on. We also have to deliver training to your area support team members so that they have clear about how they will deliver the best possible support to panel members. Barbara Reid has really helped CHS get moving with that. And others in the system need to be trained as well. SCRA will be training reporters and support staff. Local authorities will need to ensure that their social workers and other relevant staff colleagues stand ready. So there's a lot to coordinate, but we have a plan and we're working to it. And the last of my team's direct responsibilities is perhaps the most important. It's the project on children's experience, making sure that children and young people genuinely participate in their hearing system. Work is underway through this project to develop a model for advocacy support for children in the hearing system. I should point out that that provision, Section 122, won't come into force next June. Time has to be taken to develop a proper model that will work in practice for the particular needs of children in our system. So in summary, I think it's fair to say that much of the technical foundations are in place on which the new system will sit.